Years ago, I went to the Jura to make a wine documentary. I was curious at the time about how it was that this tiny, tucked away region in eastern France, making wines from some well-known but also some quite obscure grape varietals in styles that are anything but mainstream, had managed to capture the hearts of sommeliers and wine lovers around the world. But I came away thinking about something entirely different. Looking back, this is where the genesis for the wine resistance was really born. I've spent most of my adult life studying wine. As a master of wine, I've been incredibly fortunate to travel around the world to meet with remarkable wine producers in beautiful wine regions. There is no shortage of passion when it comes to grape growers. But what really stood out for me in the Jura was the stark contrast between how difficult this life can be and how deeply people feel it is still worth living. Jura wine culture is built around small family domains, families working the same hillsides for generation after generation, and many have chosen to go back to more traditional ways of farming organically before the advent of chemical sprays came along. And this is quite a commitment in a region with such a marginal climate. Before phylloxera, the region had somewhere in the neighborhood of 20,000 hectares of vines, and now it has just a tenth of that. This has never been an easy place to grow grapes, and yet the pride and the enthusiasm for the region are absolutely alive and thriving.
Et Clémentine, le domaine Baud, c'est vraiment un des plus historiques du Jura, avec une histoire incroyable. Après le phylloxéra et la Deuxième Guerre mondiale, le domaine était presque anéanti. Et c'est vraiment votre grand-père René qui a un peu redonné naissance.
Oui, tout à fait. C'est vrai que notre grand-père a fait un travail extraordinaire au niveau du vignoble. Lui était la 7e génération quand il est arrivé.
Ouais.
Et en fait, ce qui s'est passé, c'est que mon arrière-arrière-grand-père, le père de mon grand-père, lui a été à la guerre. Et quand il est rentré, il a quand même été blessé. Il a eu des séquelles très importantes. Il ne pouvait plus travailler la vigne. Et mon grand-père, à l'âge de 12 ans, a été mis au travail pour remettre les vignes en ordre.
12 ans
12 ans.
Et il était tout seul dans les vignes.
Voilà. Et voilà, il s'est formé comme ça, dès la pleine sortie de l'école. C'était comme ça que ça se passait à l'époque. Dès que les enfants avaient l'âge de travailler, avec un petit peu de force, ils étaient mis sur le terrain. Et il arrivait à gagner sa vie avec 4 hectares et demi de vignes, ce qui à l'époque était déjà pas mal.
4 hectares tout seul à 12 ans,
tout à fait.
C'est pas mal.
Seeing Clémentine's eyes light up when she told that story, it seems quite romantic so long ago. But when you're standing in the vines today and you see the struggles of the growers, it's a lot harder to paint a rosy picture. When we arrived to start filming, it was August of 2021. It was literally the first week of uninterrupted sunshine they had had since bud burst in the spring. I went to interview Stéphane Tissot in his Les Bruyères vineyard, and he showed me the extent of the damage.
Et malheureusement, quand on voit les vignes de cette année, on peut parler que d'une chose, de plein de choses, mais déjà d'une chose, c'est toute bête, c'est qu'on a gelé cette année. Malheureusement, on a grêlé en plus. Ça a fragilisé un peu à la fois la feuille et le raisin. Ça a énormément marqué, par exemple, regardez les bois. Les bois ont été aussi marqués par la grêle. D'ailleurs, quand on les prend, regardez, voilà, la grêle, il casse de peur. Ouais. Et ce qui fait que forcément, quand un végétal est un peu fragilisé, il va être plus facilement malade et le mildew va s'installer beaucoup plus facilement. On se retrouve avec des raisins donc, qui sont énormément fragilisés. Le mildew, là, on a des raisins qui commencent un petit peu à... On a des raisins qui commencent un petit peu à varier, ouais. Mais en même temps, on a des raisins, tous ces raisins-là sont tous des raisins qui sont abîmés par le mildiou. Ouais. Donc voilà, qui vont finir de sécher et tomber.
2021 can only be described as a catastrophe. First, there were the frosts, then the hail, and then a phenomenon settled over Western Europe called la goutte froide, the cold drop. Essentially, it was a mass of very cold air, high in altitude, that met with a mass of warm air and led to relentless rain and widespread downy mildew. By harvest, somewhere in the neighborhood of 70% of the crop was lost for most growers. Vin Jaune producer Laurent Macle also showed me that on the steep hillside slopes of Château-Chalon, the heavy rains had washed centuries-old soils away, carrying with them, uprooting mature Savagnin vines. Those vineyards will take years to become fully re-established. The financial burden alone of essentially rebuilding that hillside, replanting, waiting for the vines to mature, develop the same complexity of flavors as the vines that were lost, it is enormous. And this is a region with such distinctive, such interesting, such unique wine styles. Laurent Macle told me the secrets of Vin Jaune in his cellar, and you could tell that this was essentially his life's work.
Là, on est sur des vins qui ont besoin de 6 ans de vieillissement.
Oui, 6 ans minimum.
Et là, la voile, il reste bien
Alors,
sur toute cette période.
il est posé sur le vin,
Ok.
et puis il va descendre au fur et à mesure. Donc au bout des 6 ans, le niveau va arriver à 2-3 cm au-dessus de la guillette, et ce voile va protéger le vin de l'air, de l'oxydation.
Et pourquoi 6 ans? Pourquoi cette période?
On s'aperçoit que pour avoir beaucoup d'arômes, avoir des arômes de noix, de maury, tout ça, il faut vraiment du temps.
Mais chez vous, c'est un peu plus que 6 ans.
C'est 7
n'est-ce
ans,
pas?
on met un peu plus, ouais, 7 ans c'est un chiffre parfait, donc c'est 7 ans.
All these years later, I still think about that trip to the Jura all the time. The region, like many around the world, is facing increasingly erratic weather. Frost and hail and heavy rains one year, extremes of heat and drought in other years, in an area that definitely is not adapted to those types of conditions. Many young growers are facing financial strains, and as the vineyards become more and more expensive, they're having a hard time purchasing new vineyards or even carrying on family estates. As Laurent explained, the Jura is really built around wines that age for a long period in cellar. If the financial strain continues, many winemakers may start to produce less and less of these long-aged wines that take longer before they reap a financial return. Yet demand for Jura wines has never been higher. Restaurants around the world can't get enough of them, and many producers are thriving. And this is the irony. Success doesn't erase vulnerability. It can sometimes expose it. Looking back, I think the Jura made something click for me. For much of my career, I thought my role was just to help people appreciate great wine. But now, I really want to help people understand why wine matters. Not simply what's in the glass, but the people behind it, and what we lose if all of that traditional savoir-faire, that wisdom passed down through generations, these incredible places, and all the stories behind the bottles disappear. If we lose that knowledge of farming, of the shepherding the land, of making the wine, of the joie de vivre, of gathering together, I don't know that we'll necessarily get it back, certainly not in the same way. These stories are worth preserving, and I think we've only just started to tell them.